Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, let's just get ready. Basically, no matter where you are. Don't have to tell anybody about the hurricane. You pretty much can't turn on the TV, open up the internet, whatever, without hearing about it's now going to hit Florida as a Cat 4. Supposed to rapidly move through Georgia, 1,000 miles wide. I'm supposed to start getting it here in northern Tennessee, northeast Tennessee at least, tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so we've got that's going to affect pretty much everything. You're going to have power lines down. You're going to have trucking that is going to be disrupted. FedEx has already come out and said don't expect packages until this thing's all the way through and roads are cleared up. So that's going to cause a problem. Then you also have the longshoremen's strike, which takes effect Monday night at midnight, okay, going into Tuesday. Everything from Maine all the way down the East Coast and the entire Gulf Coast, no shipping's coming in. Now, not that you're expecting a whole lot of shipping to come in the middle of a hurricane and the damage that you're going to have to any of the ports. Who knows at this point what we get on the Gulf Coast, and possibly some even in the Carolinas, depending on which way this thing turns, okay? Which models say it's coming my way, but we all know how accurate weather forecasts are. You know, I can't tell you how many times it's been sunny and they're saying, yeah, it's raining right now. No, okay, so we'll see what happens. But with the longshoremen's strike, that's now a guarantee, because the union has now said that there are no negotiations scheduled between today and Monday. So unless somebody wakes up and goes, you know what, screw it, we'll just take whatever they offer and be happy, which when have you ever known a union to do that? Or when have you ever known a corporate entity to do that? Never. Okay. We're going to have a strike, which means the double whammy is upon us. There ain't no goods coming in from Europe, the Middle East, Africa, wherever we get some of the stuff. A lot of stuff that comes from India or anything, computer parts, okay, ain't coming. And what is going to be left is going to be in short supply and is going to be more expensive. So now we can add all of this together. Going into the 1st of October, okay, less than 3 months till Christmas. As of today, we are less than 3 months until Christmas. We're going to have higher prices based on a continuing resolution, based on a supply chain that's in trouble. We're going to have less goods on the shelves based on a import problem, i.e. the strike, based on a transportation problem, based on a power problem, etc., etc., etc. If you live in the Southeast, I'm hoping by now you've already been to the store and got whatever you need. If you live anywhere else, I'm hoping you are making quick plans to get whatever you might want to get. You know, whether it's, I don't know, building materials because you've got to get something put together before winter, whether it's snow shovels or snow blowers or any sort of mechanical goods, yeah. If you're out on the West Coast, maybe you're okay, all right? I wouldn't say this is going to interrupt flow of goods from China. But for the rest of us, if we get an influx of more goods coming over the Pacific rather than the Atlantic, they still have to commute, transport all the way across the country, right? Which means truckers. But we have then the problem with the refineries and the cost of diesel fuel. And so now instead of something having to travel 500 miles to get to you, now it's got to travel 2,500 miles to get to you. And if diesel fuel's more expensive, guess what? That means everything else is more expensive. We are going to see in the next month and a half tops, a massive spike in inflation. And as much as we saw, 4.1 was the last one? We got a good shot at seeing over 5% inflation going right into the election, right? I told you about the powers that the president has to put a moratorium, if you will, on this strike, and Biden's still insisting he's not getting involved in this one because he doesn't want it to affect the election. But getting involved or not getting involved, either way, is going to affect the election. If, of course, Biden exercises his right to put the 80-day moratorium on the strike, he pisses off the union workers. If he doesn't, he pisses off the entire electorate, because now all of a sudden we got higher prices for everything. And again, I go right into it that we have the holidays coming up. A lot of people spend money on Halloween. I get a feeling that's not going to be happening that much this year. We'll hear all the stories about how much more Thanksgiving dinner costs than it did last year. God forbid we hear all the stories on how much more Christmas gifts cost this year. Then, of course, we get into what you and I do every year, is charity for the holidays. How much less money is going to be given to charity because of this? Because people can't afford to. You know, if it's a choice between buying Christmas presents and paying the electric bill, my guess is you're paying the electric bill. If it's a choice between donating to charity and paying the electric bill, I guarantee you're paying the electric bill. So now you have less fortunate people out there who count on things like the food banks or the shelters not getting the money going into winter. This is it. This is all a snowball. I can't blame Biden or Kamala Harris for a hurricane, okay? And as much as somebody might say weather manipulation or whatever, okay, I'll give you that, but I'm not going to go that far with it. All right. But as for the economy, as for the strike, yeah, this is something that could be totally fixed very quickly. And 25,000 union workers are holding the entire country hostage. Not that I'm against the union workers getting their fair pay and everything for what they do. Don't put words in my mouth and think that at all. You know, they have issues with their salaries, their benefits, their retirement. Yeah, and those need to be straightened out. I agree. Okay. There's got to be middle ground somewhere. Either side can't hold each other hostage. But the problem is, by them not negotiating, which they've now announced that they aren't going to, that holds the rest of us hostage. As much as I don't want to see Kamala Harris win, I don't want it to be because the economy went in the shitter here right before the election and all of us suffer. We've suffered enough over these last 4 years in regards to every shitty policy they could possibly come up with to destroy the American family, to destroy the American dream. As Kamala Harris said in her interview yesterday, you know, that the American dream doesn't exist for most people anymore. Yeah, it's because of all of your policies, all of your inflation building policies, all of your giving away free money, paying off student loans, even though the Supreme Court said it's unconstitutional, you're doing it anyway. You own all that crap. We're paying for it. That's the problem. It's about damn time that our government starts working for us and says, you know what? Even if we can't get our insane policies for gender transition surgeries for Venezuelan immigrants in prison, it'll help the American people. We need to stop with this America Last crap, we have devastating effects coming on for the American public going into the first quarter of 2025, which starts next week, fiscal year, okay? We need this to stop. We need the unions to get their shit squared away and come back to the bargaining table, straighten this out. We need all hands on deck to help get the ports, the refineries, et cetera, fully operational as fast as possible after this hurricane, so we don't see $4 and $5 gas. I'm saying that as gas here is $2.75. I know there's some of you guys that are already paying $4 and $5 gas, okay? But I'm talking about on average for the country. We are in trouble, big time. And there's way too many things that can be an October surprise right now. The ones we don't need a nuclear war, but we also don't need an economic collapse going into it. Pray up as best you can that cooler heads prevail, that somebody does something smart. Congress is gone. They're not coming back till after the election. The government is not doing anything. Your representatives are not doing anything for you at this point. At this point, the only political office that can do anything for the next 6 weeks is the White House. Kamala Harris is running the show. This should tell you everything you need to know. If we collapse in the next 6 weeks, the onus falls directly on her shoulders. Pinball out.